there, Patriots. Welcome back to our show. It's Patriots of the American Republic, and I am here with Saul once again, and we are coming to you with a very important topic about promises made and promises kept from Biden.
Excellent. Welcome back, Patriots. We're going to have a good discussion here about the failing, economy. Obviously, what we're experiencing, oil inflation is the highest of the past 40 years as of today, July 13, 2022. So the numbers keep showing how this disaster of economic policies by the Biden administration keeps affecting everything. So with that, I have a question, Carlos, and for you, audience. Is our economy better or worse than 6 years ago?
Absolutely worse, right? Maybe at the helm of 6 years ago when Trump takes over, right? Because he's gotta put his policies into place. But during the Trump administration, right, prior to the pandemic hitting, we were revving on all cylinders, and our economy was booming. Our costs were down. People were spending. Consumer confidence was up. GDP was up, right? We had a number of different factors that were all on the rise, and money out of pocket was not one of them, right? Hyperinflation was not a worry.
Correct. These were economic factors that were non-existent back during the Trump era, during the Trump presidency. So it's evident to see those policies that Biden has implemented, how they have gone sideways. For example, the shutting down of the Keystone Pipeline, killing thousands of jobs, and obviously making us, the United States of America, more dependent on foreign nations rather to being more independent. So that's where we are. I mean, I'm just look at the high gas prices right now. Absolutely astronomical.
Absolutely, gas prices have been high. I think they're slightly lower this month than last month, but they're still high. They're still over $4 a gallon, right? And I think last month, I think middle of the month or towards the latter part of the month, it hit $5 a gallon. Now here's the problem that I have. It's the fact that the media continues to gaslight us. They continue to tell us that no, that's not true, and make up stories for Putin's price hike and so on and so forth.
Correct.
But the reality is gas prices started going up from the moment he came into office. And I think, one of my personal opinions is why, is because he publicly, on his campaign trail, he publicly promised that he was going to end fossil fuel.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those, any fossil fuel.
No more subsidies for fossil fuel industry. No more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. But I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate with it, okay?
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he's promising to do exactly that, and anybody who's anybody sees that and says, wait a minute, if this guy actually does what he says he's going to do, we're going to be in a world of hurt. And actually, during one of the debates, Trump literally said that. He said, if this guy gets into office, the stock market's going to tank. Your gas is going to be $6, $7, $8, even $9 a gallon, right? Mm-hmm. Cost of living is going to go through the roof. So Trump made these predictions based on, he wasn't guessing, it was based on the things that he was saying during the campaign trail.
Most definitely, Carlos. I mean, it's scary to see how those minions in that video were cheering when Joe Biden is saying that, because what he's saying equates to what's going on right now.
Absolutely.
An inflation, an increase in fuel prices, and us, the country, being more dependent on foreign nations for our energy. Absolutely disastrous.
Right.
So, this comes down to the refusal to pump, more oil on federal land. That is a great point because of this wokeness and woke agenda with the environment, that they don't want to touch, more oil drilling. look at what those woke policies are causing.
Which-
A complete disaster.
Which doesn't make sense because, okay, we're not drilling for oil here, but then we're going to import it from other countries and other countries that hate us. I mean,
Correct.
I don't get these environmentalists. Are they global environmentalists or local environmentalists? Because I thought environmentalists were global. They wanted to do everything for the entire planet because that's the point of being one of these radical, climate change activists, right? It's a global impact. So why are they so hyper focused on the United States, but they allow places like China and India and the continent of Africa to which are some of the biggest pollutants out of all the countries. They don't say anything there, but they're affecting us here, and now it's hurting everybody's pocket.
Well, Carlos, completely agree. And the main reason why they don't criticize China, India, or these other nations because their interest is to take down America, to take down the United States of America. It's part of the global, the globalism agenda to focus here, to end fuel fossils here, and create the chaos that we're currently living. It's not by bad policy or luck. It's literally by design. I will touch more on that in other episodes, but just look at what Biden and his administration they have been doing. They have been going to my own country, to South America, to Venezuela, to beg Maduro, who's a communist murderer, dictator, beg him for oil. I mean, how low can it get below that? They have gone to Iran, to OPEC, to Saudi Arabia, and right now, Biden's in the Middle East begging for oil. So it just shows the weakness, Carlos. And you're right, the oil being sent from overseas instead of being drilled here, it doesn't make any logistical sense.
No.
We all know that.
No, it doesn't. Now, here's the kicker, Saul. A report from Reuters came out not too long ago, it was, maybe a couple of days ago on July 6th, talking about how Biden had released millions of barrels of gallons out of our national reserve. These are our reserves for emergency purposes. And he was supposed to release that to us, the American people, to help bring down the gas prices. And I just said that gas prices have gone down in the past 2 weeks. But here's the interesting part. That report states that he sent millions of barrels of oil overseas from our reserves. Let me bring that up while you comment on that.
Sure, it's absolutely disheartening how Biden released those those barrels to China and other nations when we need them here. We, the consumers, the ones that are working hard and paying taxes. It just shows you, Carlos, that Biden's priority is the world and not America. So it looks like America last.
America last. That's absolutely correct. And as we can see here, it's about 1 million barrels per day is being released from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve through October, right? And so it's unbelievable how many barrels are going to where, right? We've got 470 million barrels going to Italy, right? We've got some more going to Central Europe, 560 barrels going to France. It's a number of things. It is, and you're right. And some of it does go to China. I'm not sure where in the article it says it, but the report, and maybe this report doesn't show it, but China is definitely one of those people, and I think India was also another one that was getting it. But they were. I mean, why does China need any of our reserve oils? Aren't they buying a bunch from Russia?
Correct. Yeah, they're buying directly from Russia at a lower cost. So I'm not sure, Carlos. I mean, it definitely seems like this is on purpose to destroy our country, to create chaos. Instead of taking care of the citizens and the people that need it here, the relief with the fuel situation, he rather sends it overseas. Absolutely disgusting and a very traitor-like approach by him, in my opinion. A very traitor-like action.
Absolutely, and you're right. It does seem like it's intentional because You've got your own people struggling, and yet you're sending what they need. I mean, this is energy that we're talking about when we're talking about gas, right? We're talking about gas prices. And so what happens is you're sending that from our reserves overseas to other countries. Honestly, okay, let's put China aside, because I mean, China should be a no-brainer. They are our geopolitical enemy. But even if it was to Europe, allies like Italy or whatever, right? We need it. It's not like we're sitting pretty right now and we can afford to give that off, right? Think about when you donate something to charity, right? You're donating because you have a surplus. You're able to take whatever amount of money you have out of your pocket. Listen, I got an extra $20, $50, $100, whatever, and you donate that to charity. But you're not donating to charity when you're scraping by and you're trying to borrow money just to eat food for the week. You know what I mean?
Correct, Carlos. That is a great analogy, and always we're seeing the high prices with the food at the grocery stores. People are feeling, because always, as we know, if fuel goes up, obviously prices at the supermarket go up. We need to get in there with trucks, right? So trucks obviously take diesel, take fuel. They're paying the high price. Consumer prices, goes up. But yeah, I mean, should we be surprised that we have hyperinflation happening, Carlos? In my opinion, obviously not.
No, and as a matter of fact, this administration is not reversing on any of its policies. It's doubling down, and it's continuing its massive spending. Just what, 2 days ago or yesterday, as a matter of fact, a report came out that they're sending Biden is sending Ukraine another $1.7 billion in aid. I mean, that is absolutely.
I read that.
That is absolutely absurd. It's disgusting. I've got the
treasonous. It's very treasonous.
It is, and here's the problem: is they've already sent them like over. Oh, it says it right here. The 1.7 billion is on top of 54 billion of aid to Ukraine already authorized by Team Biden. I mean, my gosh. Over $54 billion is going to a foreign country to fight a proxy war. We don't have anything to do there with. I feel bad for the people of Ukraine, but Ukraine is not an ally of NATO, so we don't have any obligations. And I get it, but at the same token, we're not in a position where we can do it. All it's doing is decreasing our strength. They're weakening us, while Russia and China get more powerful, because I'll tell you what, the ruble seems to be pretty strong in my eyes.
Oh, most definitely, Carlos. And China's right behind us when it comes to the biggest economy. I believe right now the U.S. economy is running at about $25 trillion at a global scale, and China's right behind us at 19.1 or 0.2 trillion. So, and during the COVID 2-year lockdown,
C19? You mean the C19?
China, C19. China made a huge increment to trying to catch up to us, and they're right behind us. And if this continue, the trends, and we have a 10.0 or 9.8% inflation here, while China's inflation is at 2.1, obviously they're making up a lot of ground to catch up to us and eventually overtake us, Carlos. And
yes,
even though I wouldn't like that to happen, being a realistic person, that might happen. So it is a very crucial situation.
Well, here's the conclusion that we've got to come to. Either A, it's incompetence, which if it's incompetence, then they really shouldn't be there, or two, it's being done intentionally. Because at this point, if you continue to see a failing measure, you've got to look and say, man, this isn't working out too good. We need to reverse course. We need to change course. We need to do something different, because the results that we're currently getting right now are not benefiting us. And we don't see that happening with this administration. They're not reversing course. They're not changing direction. What they're doing is they're continuing to push the same agenda, which tells me, like you mentioned before, it is intentional.
For as long as it takes. Does it mean indefinite support from the United States for Ukraine? Or will there come a time when you have to say to President Zelensky that the United States cannot support his country any longer? Thank you.
We are going to support Ukraine as long as it takes. We are going to stick with Ukraine, and all of the alliance are going to stick with Ukraine as long as it takes.
The war has pushed prices up. They could go as high as $200 a barrel, some analysts think. How long is it fair to expect American drivers and drivers around the world to pay that premium for this war?
As long as it takes. So Russia cannot, in fact, defeat Ukraine and move beyond Ukraine.
Correct, Carlos. Great points. I mean, this government spending is out of control, especially going for international causes that don't have anything to do for someone here in North Dakota, in South Dakota, in Montana. People need that relief here, and the printing of money and pumping it into the economy is just weakening the dollar more and more. So something needs to get done. My friendly recommendations to you and to the many patrons that I'm sure that you're already doing this. It's obviously loading up when it comes to food supplies, to protection supplies, to ammo, to guns, and make sure that you have a plan in case of that grocery store around the corner doesn't get the turnaround that's every 48 hours and doesn't get fulfilled when it comes to the food. So it's always important to be preventative.
That's great advice. And to our fellow patriots, guys, we can only hope that the midterm will provide some type of a relief, though I'm not 100% bought into that. I think it's going to take a complete change of administration. We need to get Trump back in 2024, hopefully, and we can start to see some positive change. It's going to take a long time to fix all the damage that this clown has done, but it needs to happen one way or another. And if this party continues to stay in power, guys, I've said this before, not here on this channel, but I am going to say it for the first time. The illusion of democracy is not really democracy. If these people continue to play their games and maintain a position of power that is not legitimate, then we've got an issue on our hands.
Most definitely, Carlos. Well said. For the conclusion, and it is important to hopefully have midterms that are clean, and that we're going to see a different approach and a different outcome. Otherwise, again, that democracy is just going to be an illusion of a democracy.
Absolutely.
So with that, also, I just wanted to touch real quick on, if you want to prepare, go to preparetoday.com, www.preparetoday.com. Check it out. That is a website that's going to be very important if the situation continues like it is. So prepare right now, patrons.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you back again next time. Take care.
See you next time, patrons. Take care.